Okay, guys, I know it's really late, but I think that game warrants a stream, at least for a little bit here. So, what's going on? I don't know. I might only go for like half an hour. We'll see, but I wanted to go for a little bit. I'm tired. Got a lot of stuff. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, can people see me and hear me? Are we at least functionally okay? I think we're in decent shape. I think we're good. All right. So, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good evening. You probably are. Probably are. The Seahawks have 12 wins. They've clinched the playoffs. Biggest win of the McDonald era? It kind of has to be. I don't even know what second place is. Hmm. Okay, so Seahawks played a very interesting game tonight. Don't really know what to say about it except, wow, right? I am really tired. I got a lot of stuff going on. But I thought I'd check in with you guys. I can't lie, the main reason behind our incompetent production offensively has more to do with the offensive line and Kubiak than it does Darnold. It's all linked together. I don't know. The thing to remember with Kubiak, I mean, I don't love the what he did tonight either, but the thing to remember with Kubiak, our offensive players are not that good. Like, let's be real here for a second, okay? Look at what we given Kubiak to work with. Sam Darnold is above average, right? Sam Darnold's above average. He's not really a good quarterback. He's above average. Um, we have really good running backs. We have probably a top 5 running back tandem in the league. We have good receivers, but after the top 2, it's pretty darn forgettable. So the receivers as a whole are probably a little bit above average. Maybe top 10, I don't know. The tight ends are mediocre at best. The tackles are good. The guards are bad. And the center is well below average. Well, Alf, I think that says more about Josh Jones being kind of competent than it does anything about Charles Cross. Josh Jones has been a pretty decent left tackle when he's been given the opportunity to play left tackle in this league. So it's not shocking, but Cross is clearly better. So I'm not trying to make decisions based off of Josh Jones looking fairly competent in this one game. How do you blame Darnold when Kubiak late in the fourth called back-to-back screens? Well, why is he calling those screens? why is Kubiak calling the screens? And remember, the thing to keep in mind is that Kubiak's not stupid. Maybe he's a bad offensive coordinator. You can at least argue that. I don't think that he is, but you can at least argue that. You can't argue that he's stupid. And when I say that, what I mean is he's not somebody who doesn't know how to put his pants on. He's not somebody who doesn't know how to use a doorknob. Like, this is not a stupid person. So, given that, what is the reason why he might be calling back-to-back screens? I think it might be because he doesn't have a lot of trust in his quarterback, and he doesn't really trust the offensive line, and he doesn't trust maybe some of the receivers to consistently get open fast enough. That's why we run so many give-up plays. Like, you're going to be very hard-pressed to convince me that Kubiak is so incompetent that he's just calling give-up plays on 3rd and 15. I have a very hard time buying that. Like, every time this team gets to 3rd and 15 or worse, it feels like we run a give-up play, and I feel like that's an indication that, at least in Kubiak's mind, the players are not good enough to come through in those situations. Like, I think we ran 2 or 3 give-up plays on 3rd and long tonight. And I look at that, and I just feel like it's kind of a statement that we don't actually think Sam Darnold is a Josh Allen level quarterback, or maybe we don't even really think he's a Dak Prescott level quarterback. We think he's all right. We think he's decent. But they don't want him dropping back, doing straight dropbacks on 3rd and long very much because they don't feel like he can perform. Now, maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're incorrect in that assessment, but I feel like that's something that we should be thinking about right now because remember, this offense is extremely cheap. I do think it is worth noting that this offense is cheap. I don't know when Reek got hurt, though. I didn't see it. I know he got hurt. I know he's still hurt. I don't know how bad it is. Eamon Worry's fine. We've already been told about that. Eamon Worry is totally fine. Toby, it kind of sounds like he'll miss some time, but be back before the end of the year. Woolen, no idea. Such a bummer, though. These guys are in contract years. Toby and Woolen. This is not what they needed. Cross, too. Barner and Saubert were absolutely clutch under pressure. I mean, I like those guys, but if you were to compare our tight ends to every other team's tight ends in the league, I don't think we're top 10, right? There are some tight ends out there that clearly impact the game more. So the tight ends are okay. They're fine. You know, they do their thing. So that's kind of my read here. Yeah, Kubiak's doing some things that I don't appreciate. But I think that at the very minimum, he thinks that the players he has to work with are not great. And I think that he, at the very least, has an argument for that. Yeah, that's another thing, too. Your DJT is right. We don't throw as much. I mean, Barner is good. I do think Barner is a good player. I like him a lot, but I would not put him up there with the best tight ends in football. Arroyo hasn't. I don't know about Arroyo yet. It's too early. And Saubert's a really good blocking tight end, but I mean, he's missed half the season, even if we want to talk about that. Do you think this offense is suffering from no Torrey Horton? Horton had 5 touchdown passes. I don't think Horton would be doing anything unless you want to give him Cooper Kupp snaps. Right? You've got JSN. You've got Rashid Shaheed now. And you do have Cooper Kupp, although I'm a little bit frustrated with Kupp right now. He's still playing and he's still capable of doing good things. I think that if Horton was healthy right now, he wouldn't do anything because there's no snaps for him. We don't use receivers that much. And we don't throw the ball very much. So Horton would probably just run cardio for 15 snaps a game, get targeted maybe once a game, and that's it. So no, I don't think Torrey Horton has anything to do with the offense not playing as well. I'd absolutely give Horton snaps over Cup. I'm not against that. I'm not against it. I don't hate it, but I don't know if this team would. Generally speaking, NFL coaches are much more hesitant to give rookies playing time. No, we did use, well, DJT, we used him before we traded for Shaheed. Now we have Shaheed. I don't think that we would be using Horton very much, even if he was healthy. Remember, we don't use receivers that much in general. They don't get on the field as much as they do on other teams, and they don't get the ball thrown their way as much as other teams. Thoughts on the run game offensively? Is there a silver lining? I mean, it was definitely better tonight. I was encouraged, but I don't think that, I mean, we were talking about really like one really long run from Walker. There were other good runs too, but I think the problem is still consistency. You can't count on this running game to go get, to move forward reliably. Like if you look at the Rams tonight, their running game wasn't very good, but they could at least count on grinding out positive yards on almost every run. We're not there yet with ours. I think that's a difference. But yeah, anyway, back to it. I don't think that Horton would be doing anything right now if he was healthy. I mean, remember, Horton's got like 13 catches on the season. Like, we weren't using him that much even before we got Shaheed. And Shaheed's just infinitely more talented and adds a dimension to this offense that nothing else does. I don't know. I don't think that I don't think that Horton would make that big of a difference. Unless you give him cup snaps, and I'm not opposed to that, but I don't think this team would do it. Coaches are stubborn, man. They want to stick with their proven veterans that they know can get it done, and it seems like a lot of coaches have tremendous hesitancy to lean heavily on rookies. Thoughts on Puka being a little baby on X? Yeah, it's funny. So where are all of Shaheed's touchdowns? I mean, we're still talking about a pretty small sample size here, right? Like, Horton, before he got hurt, I think had 13 catches. And we did trade for him, right? We obviously think something of him and we want to utilize him. And for the most part, even though he doesn't have a touchdown catch yet, he's still been invaluable to this offense, I believe. I do think that you can trace the improvement in the running game to his presence on the field. But anyway, the Puka thing, I genuinely don't care. I genuinely do not care at all. I know that Rams fans are throwing a fit tonight, but I do not care at all. That's what fans do when they get upset, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything, right? I mean, we still won the game. Nothing's going to undo that. Eamon Worry's fine. Eamon Worry cleared concussion protocol. He was ready to go back into the game, but the Rams didn't get the ball back. So we're fine. Mike McDonald already said that Eamon Worry is totally good. I think Sundell is actually the weakest link on the line. Bradford gets a bad rap. Yeah, I don't think that's unfair. Honestly, Zabel's pretty lackluster too, if we're being honest. Like, I think all three of those guys you could make. The difference is Zabel is very likely to get better in the near future. Sundell and Bradford might be kind of capped out. That's the difference. Well, Sundell's a very limited player. It shouldn't be surprising. We shouldn't have expected him to be great. He's really not that bad given what the reasonable expectation should have been. Don't count out the Colts against the Niners, by the way. Don't count them out. The Niners really can't stop the run at all right now for some reason. Do you think it's a possibility that Burrow leaves the Bengals, and what are the Hawks' odds of getting him? I do think that Burrow could leave the Bengals for sure. I don't think Seattle would be in on that. I think the idea of giving up 4 first-round picks or whatever it would take to get Burrow would be like a complete non-starter for Schneider. I feel like that would be too much. Like, I think that he wanted Crosby. The Raiders asked for 3 firsts, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to do it. And he's hoping that this offseason it comes down to like 2 firsts. I think that's just a barrier he doesn't want to cross. Dable had rookie moments all over today, but I agree that he has a high ceiling. This was his worst game as a Seahawk. He's like, I don't think he's nearly as bad as his PFF grades say, but he has been kind of bad this year, if we're being honest. I think we do need to be real about this. He's been probably slightly better than Laken Tomlinson was last year. There are a lot of mistakes being made. For some reason, the voting, the Pro Bowl voting has actually grazed Abel near the top. Like, if the Pro Bowl voting ended today, he would make the Pro Bowl. I don't know why. Like, he's okay. He's tolerable. If we lock up first seed in week 17, do we want to bench the team for 2 straight weeks? I haven't even really thought about that because I'd be really surprised if we locked up the first seed in week 17. Man, another young, solid receiver would really help Sam, preferably with size. Now, assuming we stick with this offense next year, I don't know if there's going to be room for another receiver. I just don't. Because I think we're keeping Shaheed. Didn't Zabel give up 0 pressures for like half the season? No. No, definitely not. Maybe according to some obscure website that I haven't heard of, but the main website I use for that kind of stuff is either Pro Football Focus or Next Gen Stats, and they both did not have that. I think Zabel's allowed at least 20 pressures this year. Let me actually go look. I can go look right now. But after today, it's probably a lot worse. Hold on. Yeah. After today, I'll bet he's allowed like 23 pressures. Which is not terrible, but there's no universe where he gave up 0 pressures for half the season. If you're the GM, do you extend Walker or let him walk? I still kind of lean letting him walk, but I'm really fine either way. I think both paths are totally defensible. I think the thing to remember is that this is a pretty loaded running back class of free agents. Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Brees Hall. There are a couple other guys too. J.K. Dobbins, although I'm not a huge fan. There are options. Is there a right guard worth taking in the first? There kind of never is. The only thing you could do is take Dunker from Iowa and move him to right guard. I think that taking a right guard in the first round is probably bad value, but you might have to just force it. You might have to force it just to make sure you get somebody that you know is going to be good. And Dunker's going to be really good. I'm wondering if some team values him enough to take him in the first as a tackle, though, because that's what he is in college. You know why Job was on Puka for most of the game instead of Reek? Well, I think it's kind of like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll didn't want to compromise his defense by having cornerbacks follow receivers, and McDonald doesn't want to either. Really, nobody does. You never really want a cornerback to follow a receiver if you can avoid it because it compromises your defense structurally. I still would have preferred to have done it in this game because there's no Devontae Adams, but can't always get what you want. But we will be late first round, right? But you still want to get good value and you still want to get the best players. I don't know if Gettings Dunker moving to right guard is going to be the best player we can get late first round. Like, what if you can get Sonny Styles? What if you can get, okay, no, I'm not even going to say that because that's not going to happen. But what if you could get, I don't know. I'm not going to say Connor Lew either. I don't think he's going to declare because he's hurt. But what if you could get David Bailey? Like, that's unlikely, but David Bailey is a much more valuable prospect than Gettings Dunker playing right guard. I really don't want to draft offensive linemen this year. I want to sign somebody or trade for somebody. I feel like drafting somebody, we're just going to get somebody that's bad until 2027. Most rookie offensive linemen have big struggles. I'd rather go get somebody that I know is good and pay him a little bit of money. Go give me a veteran. Update on the injured players. Eamon Warry's fine. No problem. Kobe Bryant sounds like he's going to miss some games, but he's not going to have his season over. And Woolen is, we don't know. We don't know anything about Woolen. I think that's it. I don't think we're drafting another tight end ringworm Sherm. I don't think so. We're getting really nice play out of Barner, and we just spent that pick on Arroyo. I don't like Arroyo very much, but I don't think they're going to give up on him after one season. Geez, why is Nightbot spamming the chat? I have it programmed to not do that. Am I crazy for liking Okada over Bryant? I think that'd be a fair assessment. Like, Okada played fine. Kobe, I think, is generally playing at a Pro Bowl level. Like, he is having a really nice season. I don't think they're on the same level at all. Would you say getting the 1 seed is still a little difficult? It seems like the only way is to win out. Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult, but things worth doing always are. Zabel has 20 pressures allowed but 0 sacks. After tonight, it's 23 and 1 sack. I think he's an average to plus starter. He might be average. He might be. He's not really a good run blocker either, though, is the thing. He frequently loses sustain almost immediately. Again, the main difference, and this is something Brandon talks about sometimes too, when Bradford screws up, it's really, really ugly, and it sticks out like a sore thumb, and everybody can see it. When Gray Zabel messes up, it's subtle, it's quiet, and you don't really notice it, but he's still messed up, and he's still wrecking plays that could otherwise have been better. If we got the 5th seed, who do we play again? Probably Tampa. It's probably Tampa. And by the way, I'm totally cool with playing in Tampa. If we played Tampa Bay in the first round, I think that they're just going to get knocked over. They might back in because they have a slightly easier path to walk, but that team is pretty cooked, I think. I think Darnold has to move quicker. If nothing is open, scramble out the pocket like Stafford did. It's pretty embarrassing when you get out-scrambled by Matt Stafford, I got to be honest. Ethan's Tech World, thank you for the $2. OMG, let's effing go. Jake, gonna love that beanie. Yeah, I know Jake. I wasn't watching, but I know Jake was crashing out after that game pretty hard, which, we all crash out sometimes, but um that's going to be a fun show. By the way, thank you for the $2 donation, first donation of the night. Appreciate that. For some reason, the text to speech didn't work, but the tracker did. We're too far gone to think about the fifth seed now. Yeah, but it's still a possibility. Sports are often random. Think about it. We can spend all the time we want to trying to understand and analyze and really break down this sport, but there's still a Takachic element to it that cannot be worked out. So the fifth seed is possible. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but I've got more concerns about after this one than I'd like. Well, I think you should. How can you not? Like, I'm not kidding, guys. I don't know if you guys saw my post-game video. I started recording a post-game video when there were 14 minutes left in the game because I thought it was over, and I was pissed off because the team I thought was kind of, really kind of embarrassing themselves in the most important game of the year. And then I stopped recording when they got into the red zone really, really fast. And I was like, oh, well, if they score a touchdown here, we've got an interesting finish. Let me see what happens here. And then I started recording another post-game video when Darnold threw the stupid interception.
All hail the curse wheel.
That's 2 moments where I gave up on this game completely. And then Shaheed just pulls us out. Roy, thank you for the $20 Canadian. All hail the curse rail. I did hear about this. Perna picked the Rams with his wheel. I had totally forgotten about that during the game, though. It would have occurred to me that, well, I guess that curse wheel didn't work, but that might be the most effective utilization of the curse wheel ever. I don't think we'll have to worry about Kubiak getting poached anymore. Don't be so sure, dude. Say whatever you want to say. We scored 38 points in this game, and 7 of them were on a kick return, punt return, and 8 were in OT. I understand that, but I don't think people are going to look at this game and go, wow, that OC's terrible. I think they're still going to be pretty optimistic about the way the OC is playing. And remember, I think there is a little bit of a perception that the Seahawks do not have the greatest talent on their offense. Ugh. Seattle is currently 3rd in scoring right now, by the way. I know that includes a lot of defensive and special teams touchdowns, but that goes for every other team in the league, right? So 29.5 points per game, that's 3rd. Do you know the last time Seattle had a top 3 scoring offense? Does anybody know the last time Seattle had a top 3 scoring offense, by the way? Or just call it a top 3 scoring team, I guess? Does anybody know? We're still 2nd in points allowed. That may not hold this week, though, because Denver's playing... I can't remember who Denver's playing. They might be playing the backup quarterback in Denver. Oh, no problem, Ethan. You're good. Yeah, 2005. 2005 was the last time we had a top 3 scoring offense in a season. 2005. Russell Wilson never did it. Geno Smith never did it. Matt Hasselbeck did it once. I don't think that Dave Craig ever did it. I could be wrong about that. It happened once, I believe, 2005. So that does not come lightly. That does not come easy. And again, he's not working with Sam Darnold. Well, he is working with Sam Darnold. He's not working with Josh Allen. He's not working with Jonathan Taylor. He's not working with the Eagles or the Bills offensive line here. So I still think he's going to get some serious credit for this. If the Seahawks win against Carolina and 49ers lose against the Bears, who is taking the first seed if Rams win out? Doesn't matter what the Rams do. If the Seahawks win out, they get the first seed, period. We don't have to worry about anything as long as we win out. Well, Liban, doesn't that depend on whether or not Tampa and what happens in Tampa, Carolina this upcoming week? This game kind of radicalized my view of the edge group. No one can consistently win one-on-one. When is the last time Mafe did anything? I mean, it always was going to be a rush by committee. And the problem is, in games like this, it's really hard because you're not getting ahead. You need to build a lead, so the other team has to play with that in mind. You need to get ahead, so the other team has to throw. And also, you need to be getting off the field so your edges don't get tired. I'm sure the guys were exhausted by the end of that game. Thoughts on Josh Jones? I feel he played a pretty good game. He was, I think, fine. I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, given that the Seahawks would lose against the Niners in Week 18, I'm pretty sure the Rams win the division. Because they split with the Niners, and we would get swept by the Niners. So I believe the Rams win the tiebreaker because of divisional record. All right, guys, I have a bunch of videos to record tonight. I have a video to make for Bleacher, and I have an article to write for Seahawks on SI. So I actually need to get out of here. Thank you for coming out. Well, here's my question. What if we lose to Carolina and beat San Fran? Then I don't know who wins the tiebreaker, actually, now that I think about it. But if we lose to the Niners, I'm pretty sure the Rams are good. And I think the Rams play what? They play the Falcons, and they play somebody else that isn't very good. Maybe it's Arizona. I can't remember. But there's no way, ain't no way that we're actually going to see the Rams lose another game, I don't think. It would be shocking. What's the shot that we sit out all our starters against the Niners? Well, I can't really answer that question with the information that we have right now. Falcons and Cardinals, yeah. So we need to win out, period. That's the way we need to look at it. Remember, the 49ers might win the division too. The Niners could be playing for the title as well. By the way, please give the stream a like on your way out. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate the support. Just wanted to do a little late night streaming because that was a big one. That was a very big one. All right, go Hawks. Oh.
What's up with
Okay,
PC
real quick here.
DIY? You ain't finished yet, right?
I have a super chat. What's up with your PC DIY? You ain't finished it? No, I did finish it, but I finished it really late. And if I streamed it, nobody would have been there. So I was just like, I'm just going to finish this because I was almost done off stream. It's right over there. I just have to unplug this thing and plug that thing in. That's all I have to do. But once I do it, I can't make any videos until I get set up, right? Because I won't be set up to make videos on the new computer. I'm going to have to go through that. It's going to take hours. So what I need to do is record a bunch of videos for YouTube or Bleacher or whatever, and then get the backlog uploaded and scheduled, and then I can transition to the new computer. Well, you didn't miss anything, Tyrus. The only thing that you missed really was me installing the graphics card. Everything else was just me fiddling with the tiny little plugs on the Mobo, which maddening experience, by the way. Sometimes they don't label their sockets, I swear. But the only thing you really missed was me putting in the graphics card. I'd done everything else, more or less. Do you think it's possible our pass rush is becoming progressively readable for veteran quarterbacks, noticing a trend with Rivers and Stafford today? Well, those guys are really good at getting the ball out fast, especially in games like this, so I'm not too tripping on that. I think it's just a feature. All right. See you guys later. Before we go any further into this video, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Get over there. Check out the left side of your screen right now. I've got the app up. Look at all this great stuff you can get up to. Look at all the over-unders you can pick on. I've got an entry for this week. Let's take a look. I got Mike Evans over 60 yards. You know they're going to be throwing him the ball a lot. I got Keenan Allen over 36 yards. You know that he's going to want to try to cash in a little bit here against a weak Dallas defense. Jamar Chase with the anytime touchdown on Miami, and J.J. McCarthy under 189 passing yards. So get on over to Sleeper. You can put together a ticket just like this. Use the promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check it out. Put together your own ticket and have some fun with sports. Back to the video.